All right, let's take a journey to a really strange little neighborhood on the periodic table, group 13. Now, on the surface, it looks like any other column, right? But trust me, you dig just a little deeper and you find this family of elements that just can't seem to agree on anything. It's a fantastic chemical mystery, and we're gonna solve it. I know, it sounds like the setup for a really weird joke, doesn't it? But I promise you, the answer is totally real, and it's hidden inside the bizarre and frankly wonderful properties of this one single group of elements. Stick with me, and we are going to connect all those dots. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First up, we'll get properly introduced to the members of this oddball family. Then we're going to zoom in on the main troublemaker, boron, before checking out its more predictable metallic relatives. After that, we'll crack the case, solve the central puzzle of the group, and finally, we'll see how these elements pop up in our world in some ways you probably never expected. So, first things first, let's meet the family. I want you to think of Group 13 like a big, awkward family reunion. You know the type, where every single member has a completely different job, a totally different personality, and a wildly different outlook on life. They're related, sure, but they have almost nothing in common. And here they are. Right at the top, you've got boron, which isn't even a metal. Then you get the one everyone knows, good old reliable aluminum. After that, things just get progressively weirder with gallium, indium, and the super heavy, pretty toxic thallium. Oh, and way down at the bottom is nihonium, which is synthetic and so unstable we can barely even study it. What a crew. And this, right here, is the heart of the mystery. See, according to the fundamental rules of chemistry, elements in the same group are supposed to act alike. Why? Because they have the same number of valence electrons. You know, those outer electrons that do all the heavy lifting in chemical reactions? For this group, they all have 3. But for some reason, with group 13, that rule just gets thrown right out the window. And honestly, that's what makes them so cool. To really understand this family, you have to start with its most rebellious member, boron. It's sitting right there at the top of the group, and man, it sets a precedent for weirdness right from the get-go. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is just how stark the contrast is. Look at boron next to its downstairs neighbor, aluminum. On one side, you've got boron, a metalloid, which is kind of halfway between a metal and a nonmetal. It's incredibly hard, has a sky-high melting point, and it prefers to share electrons. On the other side, you've got aluminum, a classic, true blue metal, way softer, malleable, and much more flexible. They're like night and day. And boron's rebellious streak? It even shows up in how it makes bonds. With only 3 outer electrons to work with, it just can't form that full, stable set of 8 that most atoms want, what chemists call a stable octet. This leaves it feeling electron deficient, so it's always on the lookout to snatch a pair of electrons from another molecule just to feel complete. This behavior makes it a textbook example of a Lewis acid, which is a super important player in a ton of chemical reactions. So boron is the weirdo at the top of the list. But what happens when we move down the family tree? After boron, we finally get to the metals. Now, you might think things are about to get a lot more normal from here. But, as we're about to see, predictable is definitely not the right word for this bunch either. First up is aluminum, the absolute superstar of the group. This is the dependable, straight-arrow sibling. It's lightweight, it's strong, and it's unbelievably useful. One of its key features is that it instantly forms this tough, invisible layer of aluminum oxide on its surface, which protects it from any more reactions, like corrosion. That's the reason your aluminum foil doesn't just rust away. And then there's gallium. This is the family's magician, the absolute trickster. Its melting point is just under 30 degrees Celsius, that's about 85 degrees Fahrenheit. What that means is a solid chunk of this shiny, silvery metal will melt into a liquid pool right in the palm of your hand. It's an amazing party trick, for sure, but it's also a huge hint that something really strange is going on with its chemistry. And here is where the mystery really gets deep. Okay, so basic periodic trends 101. As you go down a group, atoms are supposed to get bigger. It just makes sense, right? More shells of electrons. But gallium is actually a tiny bit smaller than aluminum, the element right above it. This completely shatters the trend. It's a massive clue that there are some very unusual forces at play deep inside these atoms. All right, we've gathered our clues. We've got a rebellious nonmetal, a metal that melts in your hand, and an atom that's smaller than it has any right to be. It's time to solve the puzzle. And the solution, believe it or not, has a name: the inert pair effect. So what on earth is this effect? Well, remember those 3 outer electrons? They live in different kinds of orbitals. 2 of them are in a little spherical s orbital that's tucked in close to the nucleus, and 1 is in a p orbital that's a bit further out. As the atoms get bigger and heavier heading down the group, the nucleus gets a much stronger positive charge. It starts pulling those 2 inner s electrons in so tightly that they get, well, chemically lazy. They become inert, and they just refuse to get involved in bonds. And this slide just lays out the consequences perfectly. For aluminum, all 3 of its outer electrons are ready to party, giving it a stable charge or oxidation state of +3. But as we move down, that inert pair effect kicks in. For gallium and indium, those 2 s electrons sometimes sit it out, meaning only that 1 outer electron gets involved, which can lead to a +1 charge. By the time you get all the way down to thallium, those 2 s electrons are so lazy that the +1 state is actually the most stable option. It's amazing. This one single effect explains so much of the group's bizarre behavior. Okay, so that's some cool chemistry, right? But why should you care? What's the point? Well, as it turns out, this family of misfits is responsible for some of the most critical materials in our modern world, from stuff in your kitchen to things literally in outer space. Our rebel, boron, turns out to be incredibly useful. Simple compounds like borax are probably in your laundry room right now as a cleaning booster. And its wild hardness and low density, we've harnessed that in things like boron fibers, which are used to reinforce materials in high-tech armor and aerospace parts. Then, of course, you have the workhorse, aluminum. And to really get a sense of its importance, you just have to look at this number, 8.3%. That's how much of our planet's crust, by weight, is made of aluminum. It's the most abundant metal on Earth. We are literally standing on a planet built with this stuff. And because it's so abundant, light, and strong, it is, and I mean this literally, everywhere. The airplane you fly in, the can of soda you drink from, the power lines that bring electricity to your home, they all depend on the steady, reliable chemistry of aluminum. And finally, our little trickster, gallium. Its very unique properties give it a special role in high technology. It's a key ingredient in semiconductors that are critical for your cell phone and for LED lights. And its crazy ability to form alloys that melt at low temperatures, that's exactly the kind of liquid metal tech that inspired sci-fi villains like the T-1000. And just like that, we've come full circle. So there you have it. From bulletproof vests to airplanes to literal liquid metal, Group 13 is the perfect example of how even in a system that looks as orderly as the periodic table, you can find these pockets of beautiful, fascinating chaos. It's a great reminder that there's almost always a deeper story, another puzzle to solve, which just gets you thinking, doesn't it? If one single column holds this much weirdness, what other secrets is the periodic table hiding?